Here is what this is. It's a printed copy of an email that came to not only our manager, but every manager in the Forever Broadcasting chain. RE, equal time for candidates Hendrickson and, is it Leos? Leos. Since last August, when we, then in parenthesis, Jim Leos and Robert Hendrickson, announced our write-in campaign for the Board of School Directors for State College Area School District. The hosts of your morning show, WRSC, Kevin Nelson and Pat Boland,
that's us,
have made disparaging and negative comments about our campaign. Well, they got that right. On October 30th, they received a phone call from Rick Medore, a rival candidate for Board of School Directors, and together with Mr. Medore, derided Hendrickson and Leos for running as candidates. That's mostly true, except that I had no idea who it was. Well, we had just, and I
wasn't sure who it was.
I have the phone call. I could play it again. At nowhere did he identify himself, and I can play stupid here because when they were all on in the spring, I was, recovering from life-threatening surgery. So I wouldn't know his voice now if he called up, although I've listened to that call a few times now, so I think I might recognize it. However, yep, we did. We had some negative comments about the Wonder Twins again. As we review the tapes that we have made of the shows, ooh, oh, my God, Pat, they're taping the show. Big freaking deal. It is clear that Messrs. The only time Messrs has been used and hasn't sounded dorky was in the Beatles song For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Just as an aside, generally, if you're using Messrs, you got problems. Nelson and Boland have made time available for a rival candidate to campaign. Therefore, we ask for equal time prior to the election in order to present our side of the issues. As you know, don't tell me what I know, the Equal Opportunity provision of the Communications Act requires radio and television stations and cable systems which originate their own programming to treat legally qualified, we could argue about that, political candidates equally when it comes to selling or giving away airtime. Again, somewhat true and not true. I did some extensive reading over the weekend. The lovely and talented was Googling her butt off for, no, we don't. We really don't. Most of that is federal. There are some provisions for state and local, but if you're doing a news interview program, and that's pretty much what we do, no, you're not under that. And the logic behind that is that the incumbents, it's just the way the system works. The incumbents generally get more airtime. If an incumbent makes news, if they have a press conference, then we don't have to give everybody else equal time. So that, no, you're dead wrong. We are prepared to file a complaint with the FCC if you do not grant equal opportunity. Oh, my God, I'm so scared I'm going to go home, Pat. I have to change my shorts. We look forward to the opportunity to speak for ourselves. I can't remember. When did we put the blocking system in that stopped Hendrickson and Leos from calling in? When did we install
I have no idea.
I was under the impression that if, they had the stones to pick up the phone and call in, they wouldn't have to identify themselves either if they didn't want to.
Well, another thing that irked me about that memo, Kev, is there anyone's name on that memo? Any phone number?
So you could get back and I don't know.
Yeah.
There must have. I think it came via email, so there was probably. Now we didn't get the email.
But the thing is, if you're gonna say that you're gonna take us to the FCC, you better put your name to that. And that's the way these folks have operated the whole time. There's more disparaging negative remarks coming your way right now.
It does say it's from them.
Well, but the thing is, there's no contact name, nothing there.
Now I will say this: one thing that I find interesting. If they are so impressed with the power that this show, and as well you should be, that this show has, because they're so steamed that we had a 3.5-minute phone call from somebody who may or may not have been Rick Medore. I believe it was, but I didn't know it at the time. If you're so impressed with how this show and this station can sway public opinion, why aren't you advertising? Wouldn't you put money at a place like that? You don't have to like it. You know, if the hottest show on TV on what is CSI or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I hate CSI. That guy that plays Grissom, he just honks me off. I don't like him.
But you know that there are 25 million people watching it every week.
So I'd probably drop a few ads there. So they're so impressed with how powerful we are, they can't. Now, then again, when you blow your entire advertising budget on those, those TV ads must have cost millions to produce. You know, the cost of sheets going up. So, but if they wanted to call in, they could. If they want to, they can. If you want, fine. We're doing that thing this morning. We're limiting people to 30 seconds. But, you know, if you wanted to call and identify yourself, we might let you go on a little bit longer. We'd probably ask, the whole Republican to Democrat thing, the whole why the lowest vote getter. We'd probably ask you some questions if you identified yourself, but we'd certainly give you some time to talk. Mostly concentrated on the fact that it's the lowest vote getter who now somehow thinks that... I mean, I don't even want to waste the time on it. The lowest vote getter, and then somebody who's like, ooh, there's the Titanic. Let me hitch my wagon to that. Trying to mount a write-in campaign. If you've seen some of the stuff lately, they want you to write them in and then make that your only 2 votes, because then the votes will count more.
I wanted to comment on the Borough Council has gotten involved in this.
Yeah.
The members of Borough Council, and they view these 2 guys, as well as the current regime on the school board, as being incredibly friendly and beneficial to the borough of State College. This is the same school board that a few years ago, they were one step away from wiping out Memorial Field. They wanted to shut down Memorial Field, which, in my mind, enhances downtown State College. Big football game at Memorial Field on a Friday night. People go downtown before and after the games. There are other events being held at Memorial Field throughout the year. This school board wanted to get rid of Memorial Field until the people spoke up and said, no, that's not a smart thing to do. But Borough Council, they feel that this current regime is wonderful, but they wanted to get rid of Memorial Field. This also current regime in the school board wanted to wipe out Community Field. They wanted to wipe out the last parcel of green space, really, in the entire borough of State College. Would have played havoc with one of the beloved neighborhoods of State College. Borough Council apparently thought that was a great idea. Now they are condemning the 5 individuals who secured the Republican and Democratic nominations in the spring for being anti-borough for some reason. I've not heard one thing from them to indicate that they were anti-borough.
Yeah, there is
a lot of hypocrisy.
And I don't want to start going down the Roswell path here or anything like that. You could make an argument that even the CDT reporting is, man, anytime the Wonder Twins come out and try to cast aspersions on anybody, paper's right there. I don't know if there's some CDT council incumbent. I don't want to have to put my tinfoil hat back on again. They did where the incumbents did the best was in the borough. That's where they got the most votes. But that was a pretty good turnout for a primary, was it not? I mean, it was.
Yes, it was.
And there have been times when a school board candidate. You cross-file. They always cross-file. And occasionally somebody will nail the nomination for both parties. I've never seen a sweep before. Now, if there has been one, correct me if I'm wrong. But this is incredible. One of the higher vote turnouts, all 5 of them swept, both parties. And it just looks to me like somebody's trying to come along now and rewrite history. I'm going back and forth with somebody on the Instant Messenger. And it's like, well, there is some hint that these new 5 are in the pocket of big business. The odd thing is that before the spring, it was the board that was supposed to be in the pocket of.
The school board. Let me continue here. They kept on throwing money at consultants and engineers and architects and construction companies. They threw a lot of big money at big business. They also had the largest advertising executive in the area was backing their campaign.
There were people with money on both sides of this, so that I just...
But the vote for a change money, that's evil money. That's bad money.